Hi there, and welcome to my video on my character sheet that I made for the Mecha hack in Tabletop Simulator. For those of you who don't know, the Mecha hack is a tabletop role-playing game made by Matt Click and his group at the Fistful of Dice YouTube channel and Facebook group and all that jazz. They're really fun guys. I've been following their content for quite some time. And I was really excited to see this because it was something super light, super easy to put together, and would be really great to just have on your board. Say like half of your D&D group doesn't show up, and you still want to play something. This would be a great option just because of how simple it is to set up. The Mega Hack is based off of the Black Hack, which by David Black. Matt did give his permission to publish this, and even though this sheet comes from the Mecha Hack PDF, I didn't make that. I just made the scripting that's going on top of it. Just wanted to be clear. And I think the best way to show off this character sheet would be to make a character. And there are multiple steps as there is with any other character, but the easiest way to do it is kind of start at attributes over here. I have it quite simply, if you want to roll your own dice, one of objects, components, then dice. Let me pull out a couple d6s here. I'm not going to do this. I'm just pulling them out for example's sake. Then a d20. Alright. So you want to roll your 3d6 for each one. That's fine. Whatever. Oh, hey, 14. You can click the edit button. You'll get plus and minuses for each one. Or, if you want to click the generate button, it'll do it all for you. Ain't that fancy. You'll still probably need to click the edit button to swap the items around. I could have done it so that put a swap button for each one, but I didn't really want to overcomplicate things because it's already pretty overcomplicated. And you'll see what I mean later. So we have our attributes here. Next would be our pilot type. Those 4 archetypes. If you've ever seen a mecha anime or TV show, these are like the 4 archetypes. Although I think they're missing one. The brooding teenager archetype. The guy that happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time and just happens to get into the wrong mecha that can now only be piloted by him. Yeah, that needs to be an archetype, Matt. Anyway, so we'll just pick one here. Each of these have a bonus to their attribute scores, depending on what they are, as well as in special action. So let's say Maverick here. +2 to mobility, +1 to power, and they get a reckless attack ability where they can decrease their armor and increase their damage for 1 attack. And now this will automatically add everything in there. And if you hover over it, it'll say attribute score, pilot skill, and then level up total. Don't worry about that level up total yet. I'll get over that. You see our scores are kind of mediocre still, but that's okay. I mean, this is just for the sake of example. If you wanted to manually change those, you could. Next is our chassis, which is kind of like a class, and there's 4 classes. And you got the Brawler, Scout, Striker, and Titan. The Brawler, D8 for hit die, D8 for damage, D6 for reactor die. It's a melee tank. Well, not tank. He's a melee bruiser. He's a brawler. That's what he does. He gets up in the thick of things and he hits stuff. Scout has cloaking abilities and a sneak attack-like ability. Striker has the ability to upgrade people's reactor die, and anytime you would perform a special action, such as from your chassis or a module, you'd roll your reactor die, and it'll be a certain, I'll say Striker for now, it'll be a certain size. So if you wanted to use if you wanted to use an ability that required you to roll your reactor die, you'd roll the D8. Woo! 8, fine. But if it was a 1 or 2, that size would downgrade, and it'll become a D6. So then you roll the D6 instead next time you want to use it. 6 for good. 6 for really good. 2. Okay, 2 is a fail, so it goes down. First time it hits D4, you get a warning, and it'll stay orange. I'll just saying overheat imminent. And if you fail your next one, so we'll roll a D4 now. 2, we failed. Chunk, you'll get the overheated condition. If you hover over this, that'll tell you exactly what that does. Basically, you have a disadvantage in everything, and you lose your next turn. After the following turn, you go back to having your D4. And just clicking on that will remove that. Starting equipment is just basically a text box, and you just use the PDF to decide what you want. Or if the DGM gives you something with special details, then he'll do that. The other option, you can click the starting equipment. Now this is based off of your chassis, so if you didn't pick a chassis, it'll tell you to pick one, and it'll fill it in for you. Now, due to a limitation in Lewis scripting, there's no way for me to search this string for your armor points, unfortunately. So you have to do that manually, and you can do that up here. This is armor points, hit points. I know it's a really crappy resolution, but to be fair, this image is also really scaled up from the actual PDF, so don't worry about it. So you hit edit max, and what was it, 5? Yeah, 2, okay. Hit done. Now you could do the same here with hit points, however I would not recommend it because the generate button still rolls the die, and adjusting this maximum does not actually change what you rolled on the die. So in terms of logging purposes, when we get to the level up attributes, I would recommend you don't use the edit max unless you don't plan on rolling for it at all. Down here are modules. These are kind of like feats if you played D&D. Then there's tons of them. Siege mode, defensive, and you got utility, and you get more as you level up. So we can increase our level. You get a notification that says, oh, you have 2 modules available. And you choose another one. And all the details for these are in the tooltips, just as you hover over them. Now, since we just leveled up, we got to level up our attributes too. Ta-da! This is the part that probably is most overcomplicated and engineered, because I had it working pretty well at one point, but then it got to the point where it was crashing on me, like pretty consistently. In fact, it might even crash on me depending on what I do in here. Still working on that, but at least I know the code works when it's at its bare bones. Whenever you level up, you have to test an attribute, right? You just test it against whatever your current attribute is, and it will, if it's higher than, not equal to, then the attribute will increase. So if we want to test power, okay, we tested and we failed. Okay, we failed that one. Okay, but since we're a striker, we get to roll twice and see if we succeed. It doesn't mean if you succeed twice, you get it twice. It just means you have 2 chances to succeed in order to improve it. So that improved that by 1. And then we failed again. Now you see we also have to roll for hit points, and we could have rolled the whole level. I'm just going to go ahead and re-roll that whole level. Boom, easy peasy. And then we can roll the next level, and the next level. And we could do this all the way to level 10. Now level 10 here, this is where I was talking about earlier, where I've had it crash on me a couple times. So do be careful if you're going to roll all levels or reset all levels at really high levels, because these are a lot of variables are changing and a lot of buttons they have to update in as few frames as possible. So you could, go through these individually. See, there's a bit of a spike. Another one. Usually it's pretty fine, and it'll roll it all for you. Looks like we had some 1s on our hit points, but otherwise the 6s and 7s, and yeah, we're all right. So these are our finer attributes. Go ahead and cancel. And we got 2 more modules. I'll just pick the grappler and frag mines. I already have frag mines. Booster sprint. There we go. So boom, there's a level 10 character. All that's left now is to say Derpy McDerp Mech. Oh, too many characters. Rip. Best video ever. Can't think of a good call sign. I thought about, oh dang, I need to do that now. I have to make there's a really good roll table in the book, and I need to make a button for it. I really should, but that's fine. I'll leave it for now. We'll just say Joker Maxi. Oh, no, hold on. Joker Moxie. I like that. So yeah, there you go. It's a very simple character sheet. Why is that still red? I don't know. I'll have to fix that. But other than that, everything works. It's functional. I tried to make every part of the game that would require you to change any values as quick and easy as possible. And yeah, I'm super excited to get this out there and play. Let me know if you have any more details, or not details, any comments or suggestions. My only gripe I have right now is due to the way and how I stored all these values, I have yet to set it up so that you can actually save this. I mean, you can save it as an object, that's not a problem. But I mean, saving, when you save the game, it won't keep any of these values when you reload the same game, which is unfortunate. I'm working on that, but I just got to a point where I could show it off and wanted to show it off. So, thank you, and I hope you all have a fun time playing. Bye.